evening, everybody, and welcome to the Dope Show. I'm your host, Kiana Hughes. DOPE stands for Developing Opportunities for Personal Empowerment. And each Monday night at 8 p.m., we do that by educating you about the cannabis plant, the cannabis industry, and what's going on in the cannabis community. Today, we're going to be talking about pot and parenting. We have a special call-in guest, Mr. Kevin Cranford. He is the co-founder and co-creator of Splim, which is a pot and parenting newsletter that you can find online. So we're going to talk about some of the issues related to that. As usual, we have information on what's dope this week, and we're going to talk about how you can get some more of that dope money. So without further ado, what's dope this week? Well, according to the Journal of Drug and Alcohol Dependence, they did a study in early April where they looked at 1,000 hospital discharges between 1997 and 2014, and they were looking for outcomes related to rates of hospitalizations that involved either opioid dependence or abuse, marijuana dependence or abuse, or opioid pain reliever overdose, which they refer to as OPR. So some mixed results there, but it's very interesting. The results showed that hospitalizations related to marijuana and OPR, so that, again, opioid pain relievers, they increased by 300% on average in all states across the United States over that time period. So again, that's 1997 to 2014. And that's across all states. So that really shows that make much of a difference whether it was legal. Okay. Also, the results showed that medical marijuana legalization was associated with a 23% decrease in hospitalizations related to opioid dependence or abuse, and also 13% decrease in opioid pain relief overdose hospitalizations. And so these were the effects that they observed after the policies had been implemented to legalize medical marijuana. And so what it's showing is that legislation does work. It is actually working in reducing some of those effects from opioid pain relievers. And we know that that is a huge epidemic now. It also showed that medical marijuana dispensaries did not have any impact on OPR-related hospitalizations. And it showed that medical marijuana policies, there was no association with marijuana-related hospitalizations. So regardless of whether or not there is a policy implemented within a state, there was no effect of that policy on hospitalizations due to marijuana-related illnesses or injuries. So that really just goes to show that a lot of those things that we are hearing from opponents to legalization that are pointing to, increases in hospitalization and increases in overdose and all these different things. There's just a lot of misinformation out there, and there are certainly people who are out to spread the wrong thing. So you really have to be aware, double check your sources, cross check, see who else said it, and most importantly, figure out who's paying whoever is saying it. A lot of times people say things because they have a vested interest in saying what it is that they're saying. I don't have a vested interest in what I'm saying. I just believe in it. So there is my vested interest. But, there certainly are people who are spokespersons for companies who are paid generous amounts of money to say the things that they say. So just check your sources. That's what I'd say about that. In the Associated Press this week, Colorado recorded record sales in their marijuana industry for early 2017. So they had a combined sales for recreational and medical marijuana in January and February of 2017 equaled a total of over $235 million for those 2 months. And that is an increase of 30% for compared to the same time period last year in 2016, and that's according to Marijuana Business Daily. Now, this is remarkable because wholesale prices for marijuana are at historical lows at this point. So even though the prices are low, they are having record sales, and so they're really enjoying a lot of that money. It's interesting because it seems that they're kind of looking at two different reasons why this could be the case in Colorado. The first was increased spending by existing users, and one of the points made in the article by the Associated Press was that it could be that since Trump has come out, his administration has come out, and he seems to be kind of threatening a lot of the progress that's been made in the industry, perhaps there are more people who are just flocking to places such as Colorado so they can kind of stock up and get the things that they want, because there's a fear that it's not going to be available in the coming months. So interesting that the administration would kind of have that their announcement or their stance would kind of have the opposite effect, surely, than what they thought of. And then the second reason why they think this could be happening is because of new consumers who are entering the market. And so there were a lot of people still in Colorado who were still purchasing their cannabis on the black market. And since the dispensaries now are having lower prices, they're having to pay lower prices for the marijuana, it could be that the lower prices have now kind of persuaded some of the people who were buying it on the black market to finally make that transition to go the legal route. So now they're venturing more into into the legal side of the industry. So just some interesting news there. I always think it's nice to see what's going on in other states. We know that there's been a lot of talk and some rallies and different events going on here in Illinois. And in one of the, I forget the exact name of the type of hearing that it was, but it was like a subject matter expert hearing where they had people from Colorado come and present to our legislature and to our politicians and people who are interested, any interested parties. They presented to them information about how the program worked in Colorado. And so it is interesting and a good idea to see what are some of the models out there, what are the other states doing, and just to kind of see how the other markets are handling these issues. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? We can see what other markets are doing, other states are doing, and we can kind of cherry pick and find the things that will work for us, for our population. So there is no one size fits all thing. There is nothing that makes a policy all good or makes a policy all bad. And we're in a good time where we can really affect some change and put together something that's going to be helpful to everyone. I'd really like to see it, and we'll be talking about this in the coming weeks. I'd like to see us do something where in Illinois, where those who have been victimized by the war on drugs, who have suffered felony offenses because of marijuana, because of the war on drugs, in other states, I believe maybe Rhode Island, maybe one of these states, they are putting specific things into their legislature to offer those felons the opportunity to participate in the industry. Whereas here in Illinois, we really just cut people out, right? So I really would like to see, I've always said I want to see our people on the right side of things. And we know that people of color have been just disproportionately affected by the war on drugs. We know that there are people that are serving serious time just for having a little bit of weed in their car, or trying to sell a couple dime bags on the corner, and now they're serving years and years in jail and messing up their lives. And so I really do feel like it's our responsibility to do right by these people and to give them the opportunity to thrive, because otherwise, what are they supposed to do? So like I said, we'll be talking about that a lot more in the coming months. I'm going to get some people on the phone and in the studio who can really speak to this a little bit better, a little bit more than I can. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, talk a little bit about dope money, give you a couple stock tips or some things that I've just come across in the last week or so. And then we'll get ready for our special guest, Mr. Kevin Cranford of Splim Magazine. Talk to you in a minute. And we're back. Welcome back to the Dope Show. I am Kiana Hughes, and you can catch us every Monday night at 8 p.m. on Intellectual Radio. The Dope Show is brought to you this week by Two Dope Chicks. Two Dope Chicks is a boutique consulting and education firm dedicated to educating and consulting with people and people and businesses in the cannabis industry. If you or your organization or I'm really trying to get into some churches if I'm being honest. So if your church or your organization or someone in your community would like to have a cannabis educational presentation, please reach out to us. You can reach us on Facebook at Two Dope Chicks Presents the Session, as well as twodopechicks.com. So certainly willing to come out and share this information whenever and wherever we can. And speaking of that, I will be at Insight Awareness tomorrow from 6:30 to 7:30. Insight Awareness is a holistic and alternative health facility in Homewood, Illinois, and I'm going to be presenting on cannabis for health and wellness. Tickets are still available, so you can check us out on Two Dope Chicks Presents the Session, as well as insightawareness.com, and there's more information on that there. So definitely take a look at that and tell your friends. And I'll be doing a couple more of those with them in May and June as well. So, all right, so what's happening in Dope Money this week? Just a couple quick things. According to a report published by Grandview Research, the global medical cannabis market is expected to reach a value of $55.8 billion by the year 2025. The Hemp Business Journal estimates that the CBD market will grow to a $2.1 billion market in consumer sales by 2020, with $450 million of those dollars coming from hemp-based sources. Now that's a 700% increase from 2016. And just to give you an idea, a couple of the stocks or companies that they highlighted in this article: Naturally Splendid Enterprises Limited, and their ticker symbol is NSPDF. They're currently trading at 19 cents, about 1944 cents per share. They've begun shipping hemp seeds to South Korea, with the first container having left Vancouver just about a couple weeks ago on April 24th. They're going to be launching a roster of CBD formulated products at the Seoul Food and Hotel Convention 2017 on May 15th through the 19th. So they're doing big things there over in South Korea. I should mention they're currently trading at 19 cents per share, and they have a 52-week high of about 45 cents per share. So something to keep in mind there. Again, not a lot to invest, but you can see even a small investment can earn you some money. Vitality Biopharma, and their ticker is VBIO. They're dedicated to unlocking the power of cannabinoids for the treatment of serious neurological and inflammatory disorders. They are currently trading at $1.98 per share. Their 52-week high, which they hit back on December 27th of 2016, it was $4.24 a share. So you buy low and sell high, you definitely could have made a little bit of money there as well. Mentor Capital Inc., ticker symbol MNTR, currently trading at $1.62 per share. They recently announced that they have initiated funding for its Glaucana venture for the use of medical marijuana in the treatment of glaucoma patients. So we've long known and have joked about it, even talked about it on Friday, or the movie Friday, that is, that you can certainly use and treat, and I'm not sure if you can cure it, but I'm pretty sure you can alleviate your symptoms of glaucoma with cannabis. That's a long-standing, a well-known fact. So this company is actually funding a venture for specific treatments for that. They're currently trading at $1.62 per share. Their 52-week high was $4.82 per share, and that was actually just back in February 22nd of this year. And then finally, Mountain High Acquisitions Corporation, and their ticker symbol is MYHI. They're a holding company focused on the commercial hemp and CBD products Industries. They're focused on the development and sale of products containing and featuring the non-psychoactive ingredient, so that's the CBD, that's derived from hemp oil and sold under the retail brand name Super CBD. Now, they are currently trading at just 13 cents per share. Their 52-week high was 90 cents per share, and that was just in January 23rd of this year. Oh, I do have one more. I might as well give it to you. GB Sciences, ticker symbol GBLX. They are a diverse cannabis company focused on standardized cultivation and production methods, as well as biopharmaceutical research and development. So they recently signed an agreement to produce cannabis-infused products in the state of Nevada, and they did that with an Arizona-based company called Kush Cups. Currently, GB Sciences is trading at 30 and a half cents per share, and they have a 52-week high of 65 cents per share. So again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't play a financial advisor on TV, but I am interested in learning more about how to earn money in the cannabis industry. So when I learn something, I want to share it with you. I do suggest you do your own research. You contact your own financial advisor, your accountant, and whoever else you need to contact before you put your money someplace. But this, again, is an opportunity for your personal empowerment. So that's been our Dope Money segment for this week. We're going to take another break, and we will come back with Mr. Kevin Cranford from Splim Magazine, and we're going to talk about pot and parenting. This is The Dope Show on Intellectual Radio, Mondays at 8 p.m. And we're back. Welcome back to The Dope Show. I'm your host, Kiana Hughes. Before I get to my call-in guest, I want to also tell you that I will be presenting Cannabis for Health and Wellness this Sunday, April 30th, from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Journey to Wholeness Center. It's in Oak Lawn, Illinois. The address is 9501 New England, and you can get more information at journeytowholeness.org. And I wanted to make sure I got that in because I know once I start talking to Kevin, I'm probably going to forget and we're going to run out of time. So definitely check that out, journeytowholeness.org. Tickets are still available for that presentation as well. Now, joining us by phone, we have Mr. Kevin Cranford, and he is the co-founder or well, tell me your title. He is the what?
I'm the co-founder of Splim, the Pot and Parenting newsletter.
Yes, the co-founder of Splim, the Pot and Parenting newsletter, which is just so juicy. I was like, I got to talk about this. Like, what's that about? So, welcome, Kevin. Thank you so much for agreeing to chat with me today. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So I don't know if you're tuned in to the live feed, but I want to say, because I was going to be on with you, I wore my Black Star t-shirt.
Yeah, that is nice. That is nice.
Which I had to wear today, and I could not wear to this awesome festival that you guys had there. So tell us just a little bit about the festival that you guys had on Saturday, who was there, what it was all about, and give us something to look forward to for next year.
Yep. This past Saturday, I was at the National Cannabis Festival representing Splim on a panel about young industry entrepreneurs and industry folks. The National Cannabis Festival is in its second year. This year, it featured Talib Kweli as the headliner, so your shirt is very much appropriate.
Yes.
They had Backyard Band. They had The Far Side, a bunch of, it was just a good concert, good show. They had an activism pavilion, education pavilion. It was something for everybody there.
Yeah.
And food trucks, lots of food trucks.
Gotta love those food trucks. It was dope. Thank you for the times that you were able to go live and just give us a little bit of taste of what we were experiencing there.
Yeah.
Looked like an awesome time. And speaking of pot and parenting, one of the reasons why I was not able to come is because I was parenting. I was being a parent because my kids were on spring break this week.
Priorities. Priorities. You got to handle them.
Yes, and it was wonderful. I spent my 420 doing cool things with my kids, and
that's good.
And it was awesome. But next year they're gonna have to plan spring break a little bit better, and so is mommy. I'm gonna definitely be a little bit more on top of that for next year because I need to be in the place. As
weed gets more popular, I'm sure they'll start plotting things around our schedule and stuff.
Yeah, and I couldn't quite figure out how to navigate the pot and parenting thing there. Like, okay, should I bring my kids? Like, can we just bring them with us and then do what? I wasn't quite ready for that yet. So
I think as the movement progresses, though, we're going to find some spaces where that's going to be allowable. Maybe there'll be like 420 babysitters that do like movie nights for the kids and have the parents go do something else.
Bouncy houses,
I don't know.
Right? You know, they could have bouncy houses and face painting and all kinds of stuff in another area, right? So
somehow adults get drunk for like St. Patrick's Day and Cinco de Mayo. So I'm pretty sure we could find a way to do what we have to do for 420.
Oh yeah, or your 1-year-old's birthday party. I mean, most of the 1-year-old birthday parties I go to are BYOB. Like,
all have liquor, don't they? That's the only way parents can get through those.
You come in looking for a beer. So, at any rate, Kevin, so thank you again for being on with me today. And I just wanted to give my audience a glimpse into some of the different things that are out there with the cannabis culture. I just thought that the Splim magazine concept, that whole pot and parenting thing, I thought that was such a cool concept. So tell us about Splim. What's the purpose of Splim and how'd you come up with that?
Yep, the purpose of Splim is to have a network and grow a community of parents who use pot, pretty much. As legalization pushes on, there's new frontiers we're expanding to, and parents is one that seems to be missing. So me and my other co-founders, Jen Lauder and Chad Dean, who are in Portland now, who are a couple, we decided to come together and do something just for parents, or something that has parents in mind, because it seems like we were being missed in the whole conversation of legalization.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I like about Splim, even in reading it, is that it is, it definitely normalizes cannabis, right? It's not a stoner magazine. It's not all pot, it's not just about that stuff. There's, an article or a blog in there I was reading where the lady's like, yeah, I still read to my 9-year-old son every night, or, there's like regular parenting stuff, but it just normalizes it as a part of the culture.
We're regular parents. We just came out about our pot use. There's a lot of other parents out there who aren't ready, who can't, and we kind of want to become a network for them too, and just kind of give them an avenue to talk to other folks who are doing the same thing, who are reading to their kids every night. So we're talking about your favorite kid's book.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about your favorite vape. So it's a little bit something for everybody.
Right, absolutely. Now, tell me, what is the origin of the name Splim, and what does Splim mean? I didn't get that.
So we found Splim. Splim is an old, like, 30s jazz term for marijuana. But it was spelled with one M back in the day, and we threw another M on it.
Okay, so it's your magazine is SPLIMM, and back in the day, a splim. So I wonder if that's where a spliffs came from.
It might have been the same root word or something, but yeah, those old jazz guys had a bunch of cool words for weed, so we went back to them to get our inspiration.
Nice. Now, why is it important to normalize cannabis for our children?
I think it's because weed has always been taboo, and that makes it sexy, and that makes it forbidden fruit. If we normalize it, if your parents are smoking weed, if your grandparents are smoking weed, it's not going to have the same taboo effect or have the same allure. I don't think. It's going to become boring. So normalized to me means it's going to become more boring.
Yeah.
If you make it more boring, it'll be like having beer in the fridge. Kid just won't mess with it because he understands that's his dad's beer. So hopefully we can have weed cabinets in the future, and kids just know, or we grow them up or normalize them to knowing that not to mess with it or how to mess with it when they become of age.
And I think that's really, one of the key things that's happening now. I don't have it with me today, but I read about this last week where in that study from the Yahoo News segment that they did on American families and cannabis, it was like, saying that parents were a lot less concerned about marijuana than they were about so many other things. And I think just that kind of shift in perception kind of shows that we're heading closer towards that way, towards having a weed cabinet.
That's also because who are those parents? What age are they? They're like baby boomers, so they know what weed does. They've seen their friends on weed. They've experienced weed. They've been through college. They understand. I'd rather have my kids smoke a joint than shot them beers at night. So they have a more of a knowledge. And again, Splim is for them to kind of come out of the closet on cannabis and talk about it more.
So now, how do you, I know there's a couple different articles in the newsletter about how to have the drugs talk with your kids, because, one of the things that happens, and I'll just say from my own experience, when I even just told my daughter, who was maybe 12, or she was 12 at the time, but when I told her just that I was in the industry, when I told her I'd just come home from a Women Grow meeting, she started crying. Like she literally broke down in tears. And I'm like, I just said it was like a business meeting. We were just talking about, how to be in the industry. I mean, that was really my earliest foray, even just into the industry. And she's like, oh, they're going to take you away from me, and they're going to this and that. And so how do we navigate that?
I think it starts them young. With things like Splim. I hope my child's only one, but I hope that as legalization progresses, I'm able to be more open with him and honest and not hide this part of myself with him, so that it's not a surprise or he's not shocked when he finds out that Dad smokes weed, they're going to come take me away. So hopefully as things progress, we can normalize children to it as well as normalize the rest of society. But I've heard other stories of folks having their kids find out they smoke weed, having the same reaction, crying, freaking out, oh no, daddy's going to jail. But that's what the society puts on stoners or on people who smoke weed. So if we could do away with that, the kids wouldn't have that reaction.
Well, and I can say you're right about that starting early thing, because now with my 8-year-old, he just recently asked me, like, he's really excited about me doing the dope show. Doesn't really know what it is. He just knows mommy's kind of like on TV doing something, right? And I go there every Monday and I'm doing something. So one day he said, well, mommy, what's the dope show about? And I said, well, it's about a plant called cannabis that, people use to feel better and to help them with different illnesses. And he's like, well, what is that? And I said, well, some people call it weed. You might have heard about weed or marijuana. They call it different things. And he said, well, is it a drug? And I said, well, it's a drug the same way that aspirin is a drug or Tylenol is a drug. It's also a drug in the same way that vitamins are it's a supplement in the same way that vitamins are supplements. People can use it to relax and have fun, or they can use it to heal themselves when they are sick and to help them feel better the same way you would like an aspirin or something else. And the coolest thing he said was, he's like, oh, okay, I get it. And he's kind of fascinated with like cancer right now. So I'm like, a lot of people that have cancer, they use it and it helps them to cure their cancer. And he's like, oh, okay, well, you know what? If I ever get cancer, I'm gonna take cannabis. And I'm like, damn right, kid.
Maybe when you become a famous scientist, you can use cannabis to cure cancer.
Yeah, exactly.
But by having that conversation with him, has him thinking something totally different than what school might have put in his head, or the police or society might have put in his head about cannabis. Now he's thinking, cool, mom knows people with cancer, I can help cure people or get sick people better. Instead of crying like, oh my God, my mom's gonna be taken away and put in jail.
Yeah. And well, my daughter she was just older, right? She had just, she'd already drank the Kool-Aid. And I had drank the Kool-Aid at that age as well. So I get it. I totally
get it. My parents drank the Kool-Aid when, I got arrested at 19 and my parents found out, my mom found out, and she got very upset. She's like, oh God, they're going to kill you in the streets. And she's right. That was a threat of me having marijuana, getting arrested, slammed up by the cops.
Yeah.
It happened. So I'm not sure if she was more so scared of me smoking weed, but the cops plus weed. So
I got you.
I see where the fear comes from.
Yeah. Well, and so what are some, in addition to Splim, what are some other resources that parents can use to, have that talk or to kind of combat the misinformation that their kids might be getting from school or their DARE programs or just other resources or other sources about that?
I found normal.org to be very helpful. I started off in the Normal organization, and they've beefed up their website a lot to have a lot of up-to-date studies and medical research on marijuana. So that's probably one of my first go-tos. It's pretty easily digestible information. You put in an illness and it'll tell you what strains or what studies are out there on it. MPP, Marijuana Policy Project. Mm-hmm. They have an excellent website also.
Okay, and that's you said normal, so I need to spell that for people because it's not with an A. NORML.org. And then you said also the Marijuana Policy Project. So that's I
believe they're MPP.org.
Yeah, MPP.org. And they definitely have some great resources just for anybody that wants to learn more about cannabis.
Right.
The teenager thing is a little bit different. So any tips or any tips or advice for parents of teens who are either curious about it or already doing it? Because now you say you got arrested at 19. So now.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can give advice to parents of teenagers because I'm closer to being a teenager than having a teenager. But I would say just be honest. If you're a user, just tell them you're a user. If you're not, but you're fearful of something, tell them that and have that conversation with them. Hopefully you're raising a smart individual who can make proper decisions, educated, smart decisions for themselves. But as a parent, you have to be educated yourself too. Don't come at your kid with some DARE stuff because they can go on the internet and debunk it like that. So if you're biased, show your biases. Just try to be truthful with them because they're teenagers. They're gonna smell you out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Recently, Melissa Etheridge made, headlines that for admitting that she smokes with her adult kids, and that was like, oh, that was such a big deal, which is kind of funny to me because I've always known people who have who either smoked with their, sometimes even with their teens, like late, maybe later teens, not like your 14, 15, 16-year-old, but, or people that they're younger teens, they know that their teens smoke and they allow them to either at them homes or, outside of the homes or whatever. It's just not a big deal. So it's crazy that once somebody comes out and says it, it's a big deal. Go ahead.
Right. That's part of normalization, I think. Growing up, I smoked with some friends' parents before. It wasn't a big deal. They provided a safe environment for us to do it in. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I mean, none of us died. So it's part of normalization. There's going to be people who find the line, go over the line, toe the line. We just have to kind of all go there together. But I don't think there's anything wrong with adults smoking together. They just happen to be adults or relatives. I don't know. I don't see a big deal.
Yeah, and I know a lot of parents are concerned, are really concerned about, where their children or their teens or whatever would have to go to get the weed, right? To actually get it, especially on the black market. And to me, this really makes the case for the legalization for, adult use. So at least at the age of 18, they can actually go into a dispensary and get it versus, having to be out on the corner or looking for, dialing numbers and meeting people.
Yeah, the legalized market provides a safer experience for everybody. I think they're going to keep the age at 21.
Okay,
it would be great to have it at 18, in my personal opinion, but I don't think that's going to happen here.
Well, you can get cigarettes at 18, and they're much more deadly.
Yeah,
they're much more harmful. I'm just saying.
For some reason, that logic doesn't hold with them. I don't know why.
Yeah, nobody gets that. So one of the things I was kind of laughing at, I read your article, the article you wrote towards the beginning of Splim about becoming a canna parent. And so I know that you have a little one, and you said when he was a newborn, you said the beauty of canna parenting a newborn is that they're not mobile. So now that I've seen a couple pictures or a couple videos of the babies, he's getting around.
Yeah, he's moving.
So how's that going now that he's a little older and more mobile?
It's becoming harder. Like everybody told me it would. It's becoming harder. I have to keep a more active eye on him. But I mean, it's part of parenting. I will say though, I am very now more so meticulous in cleaning up after myself, making sure everything's tidy, locked up, put up high places, because he likes to he's learning to climb, which is a new thing. So yeah, everything has been put away for safekeeping now.
Do you think you'll smoke with your son or your kids in the future?
Yeah. I don't plan on stopping smoking. So if he has an interest, in it, but it might be boring. I'm like, oh God, Dad's high again. I don't want
right.
So it might be something totally different for him. Who knows? But if he would like to, I would like to experience that with my son. Yes.
So about what age do you think you'd be comfortable with that?
I would say 21.
Okay.
20, 21, somewhere in there. Again, like you said with the cigarette thing, it's so weird. You can get cancer legally, but you can't smoke tobacco. You can go to war. You can go off to a foreign land and get shot, but you can't smoke tobacco or smoke marijuana. But I don't want the law coming in and taking my child from me either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most parents, I mean, I don't know, I won't say most parents, but I think you would kind of treat it the same as you would treat alcohol. I wasn't
right.
I didn't smoke until I didn't smoke weed until I went to college, because I was very much on the dare. I was on the bandwagon. I had a lot of bad examples in my family, and I really bought into the idea that it was a gateway drug. So I was like, I'm trying to be successful.
Not that gateway.
But once I did, then it was just like, oh, it's not so bad, right? It wasn't anything like what I thought it was gonna be.
I think that's what's so bad about dare, is because once you find out they're lying to you about weed, what else are they lying to you about? And that becomes the gateway. It's like, oh no, weed wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Well, luckily for me, I was too scared to go much further. I was like, okay, well, this is cool. Yeah.
Luckily for a lot of us, and that's the example again Slim wants to put out there, as we stopped that weed, we're cool. We just stopped that weed, we're fine. We can still parent.
Yeah, you can still parent. You can still be a good parent. Oh, you know what? One of the features I really liked in Splim too, that it was what's it called? BYO. It was like bring your own wine, weed, or kids, and it was talking about the different places that you can go. Tell us where you live. What state do you live in, Kevin? Because you're not here
in
Illinois.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay. Yeah. And so you guys are recreational adult use there as well?
No, not quite yet. Our medical program is just kind of getting off the ground, and we see legalization probably the next 2-3 years.
Okay. Awesome.
But DC has legalization, so our neighbor to the south.
You're right. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you were in DC.
Yeah.
So now, what's next for Splim? What else? What are you guys going to be doing in some upcoming?
Yep. We just put out our 14th newsletter, so we're proud about that. Between parenting and trying to write something and make it look nice takes a whole lot of work.
Definitely.
Shout out to Jen and Chad for doing a lot of that work. We're hosting a Leave Your Kids at Home adult game night in Portland this weekend. Details can be found at splim.com or check us out on Facebook. So we're just trying to get parents out, talking weed and have a game night.
Well, I think that is just awesome. I think that if people can, even just being able to read the magazine and just see what are some different examples of different types of activities that you can do or different gatherings that you can have. And even if you can't be in a place where you can publicly, consume, just even being with other parents that do consume and everybody knows it and it's okay and there's no judgment there. It's
Right.
really nice to create those kind of safe spaces and activities there.
Exactly. That's what we're looking to do.
Well, that's going to be awesome. One last plug, speaking of safe places and activities, I just want to throw in the plug for the Facebook group. And I don't know, is the PLC group open or are we?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a really good group out there that I can't really tell you about because it's not open, but that's how But that's how I met Kevin.
If you want to know, you'll find out. Trust me. Somebody will.
Yeah, you'll get in. It's fine. But thank you for that as well. I really hope to have you back so we can talk about some more of these, some more of the minority issues, some more of the criminal justice things and other issues that we do really need to put on the table. So I hope to talk to you again real soon in the coming weeks and get back on the table about some of those things as well.
I would love to. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Everybody, please be sure to check out Splim, Pot and Parenting Magazine. Volume 14 is out now. I was just looking at it a little bit earlier today. So definitely check that out on Facebook and splim.com as well. All right, everybody. That's it for the Dope Show tonight. So again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Please be sure to share this video. Share the YouTube video. Please go to the YouTube video, like it, give it that thumbs up, share the links. It's everybody's responsibility to educate everybody that we love, and that's what we're here to do. Thanks for tuning in to The Dope Show. We'll see you next Monday at 8. Take care.